Here we are, end of the line. This is the very last ACT science video that I'm going to be making for you. Conflicting viewpoints number 3, practice and group work. What are we getting into next week? We are doing math. We're going to start with, I think, basic operations, like how good are you at adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing? And then we'll do some basic algebraic operations, talk about some characteristics of polynomials, how we add, subtract, multiply. I don't think we actually will divide any polynomials. And we'll also talk about exponent rules, all sorts of that fun stuff next week. But this week, it is the end of conflicting viewpoints. So let's take a look at one passage. Remember, I'm going to do the first one with you. You're going to do the last two on your own. It's easy to give yourself too much time when you're practicing these. Remember that. So as you're going through these, the first time shouldn't be taking more than 6 minutes. So really to do this whole packet the first time, I'm going to work through the first one with you. It's going to take like 15 minutes, too long. You get 2 more, give yourself a 6-minute timer on each one. Go back, look at the key, make corrections as is necessary. So let's jump into it. Practice and group work number 3 here. And what are we talking about here? I don't know. Students grew some different species of paramecia, but I hope you just don't spend a lot of time reading this. It's just, oh God, your eyes are just going to glaze over if you try and read all this for content the first time. So just jump right into it, and hopefully it'll tell you where you're looking. Based on, oh, very nice. It's telling us where to look. To student 3's explanation. Had P. aurelia released the toxin by day 9? Okay, well, I don't know. Student 3, what's student 3 say? P. aurelia, when population densities became too high, P. aurelia released a toxin that stopped the cilia on the competing paramecia from moving. Because the movement of cilia is necessary to ingest food, population of this thing declined. So is caudatum going down on day 9? Go look over here. Here's aurelia and caudatum. That's 8, so 9 is right here. So was caudatum going down on day 9? Yes, indeed it was. Great. So caudatum going down? Yes, because the population density of caudatum was declining by day 9. Could have crossed out A because it said caudatum was increasing. And aurelia is the thing that's releasing the toxin. That shouldn't be going down or going up. That one's not as important. Number 14, according to student 1, great, so it tells me where to look. When P. caudatum, great, and P. bursaria were grown together. Where in the growth medium, near the top or the bottom, was each more likely to be found? Okay, what do I know? I might search for top or bottom. If you go do that, student 1, P. caudatum and P. aurelia. Great. Oh, excuse me. Nope. P. caudatum and P. bursaria. Excuse me. This will. Oh, P. bursaria feed on bacteria at the bottom because P. caudatum and P. bursaria occupied different regions. Bursaria is on the bottom, and they're different. Do I have to know anything? No. Bursaria is on the bottom, so I cross out F and G, and that was told different. Excuse me, F and H I'm crossing out, so I'm keeping G where they're on different sides. Great. So green, let's go to red or something. Number 15, suppose that over the 18 days the tubes had been kept in the dark. This information would weaken the explanation of which student. So if they're kept in the dark, well, if they're kept in the dark, that means there's no light. Deep, Mr. Kraviec. If they're in the dark, there's no light. Great. Who talks about there's something needing light? Somebody must. Scan. Oh, photosynthetic algae. Ooh, that needs light. Anything else need light? Nobody else talks about light. One, student one only. The only one to talk about light. Photosynthesis. If you didn't know, that photo at the beginning of photosynthesis, that's light. Light synthesis. Takes light, makes into energy. Great, you knew that. 16. Vroom, vroom. Based on figure 1, student 2 would most likely have made which of the following statements about the food consumption when cow datum and Aurelia were grown together? All right, so these all talk about, okay, does Aurelia decline or cow datum decline? Aurelia decline, cow datum decline. It always talks about feeding on. Every one of these answers talks about feeding on. So somebody's feeding on the other one, and somebody's population goes down because of it. You know, if I begin eating my students, the student population does indeed go down. Not allowed though, illegal. So let's take a look. Figure 1, student 2. Who's going down? Well, cow datum's going down. So who are we eating? Must be eating cow datum. Great. So got to have cow datum declining. So we'll go look, and it's not F, and it's not H. So it's got to be G or J. So cow datum declined. If cow datum's going down, who's getting eaten? Cow datum's getting eaten. P. aurelia began to feed on P. cow datum. You could also find that back in here. P. aurelia began to feed on P. cow datum. A word search would have found began to feed on as well. 4 down, 3 to go. Let's take a look at number 17 based on figure 1 and student 1's explanation. Great. Was P. cow datum or P. aurelia better able to compete? What does being better able to compete look like? Better able to compete, that's a weird way to say winning. So who won on figure 1? Just take a look. Who won? Aurelia won. They are the winner. They outcompeted cow datum, the loser. Great. All right, so Aurelia's got to be the winner. So who was better able to compete? It's got to be C or D. So Aurelia was better able to compete because cow datum's going down. So was cow datum stable and Aurelia declining, or was Aurelia stable and cow datum declining? Hopefully you see cow datum is declining right there. If cow datum is declining, then Aurelia must be stable. That's going to be answer option D. 2 left. Number 18, consider the test tube in which cow datum and bursaria were grown together. Which student, if any, claimed that by day 18, P. cow datum reached a higher population density than P. bursaria because cow datum was able to ingest both the bacteria and bursaria? So did anybody talk about cow datum? Ingest means to eat, to feed on. So cow datum and bursaria. So who talked about cow datum and bursaria eating on each other here? This says cow datum and bursaria are unable to ingest other paramecia. So it's not 2. And nobody else talks about eating one another. Who is this? None of them. Last one. Coloring pink. Which of the students described a symbiotic, what the heck does that word mean? Relationship between a paramecium species and another species that is not a paramecium. What is symbiotic? That's helping one another to survive. You know, somebody's doing something for the other guy. It's like it's like the sharks that let the little sucker things stick onto them so they clean off the shark or the whale or whatever. I don't know. They work together. One helps the other. Symbiotic relationship. Okay, let's look back here. You just got to scan for a symbiotic relationship. Oh, harbored cells of photosynthetic algae. cytoplasm. Oh, harbor photosynthetic algae. What does it mean to harbor? It means like keep it safe inside. Keep safe. That sounds like they're working together. So I'm going to go with student 1 because they're hosting within them, or harboring. Hosting just would make you think it's a parasite. They are harboring within them another species. Student 3 doesn't talk about any such alternative species. So answers there: 13 is C, 14G, 15A, 16J, 17D, 18J, and 19A. Now you got 2 left. Next one's talking about CO2 emissions, hematite rock formations, low and high latitudes. I'm going to draw a picture for you real quick over here. This is the Earth and this is the equator. Low latitudes are near the equator and high latitudes are near the poles. Speaking of things you had were told at one point but forgot. So these are low latitudes at 0, might be 30 north, might be 60 north, and this is 90 north. And we have similar deals on the south, 30 south and 60 south. It's probably been a while since you looked at the globe. Nobody really ever teaches you about longitudes and latitudes unless you were really paying attention. So there you go. That's our last conflicting viewpoint. We got 2 more to do. Get them submitted. Next time you see me, we'll be talking math.